Certifications, training, competency, and things like that, is that competency is actually that mix of knowledge, so tested knowledge with the applied skills, with the work experience to put it into practice. And so we also, depending on which group, and they were fairly similar, we asked a lot of what compelled you to come and stand at this corner of the room? You had 4 topics. Why are you thinking about this? And a lot of people were talking about the fact that as a hiring manager, they need to be able to onboard a large number of people in a hurry. We also talked about the fact of what training adds value to people. And part of what our outcome was, it really depends on where in your career path you are. Okay, so a lot of our companies have, whether they're well thought out or not is a questionable, but they have things for how to onboard a new grad, a new apprentice, all of those sorts of things. It's when we start to get into the mid-career professionals or even the more experienced folks who are farther through their career, how do we keep them sustained? Some of the jobs and some of the activities we're doing now, nobody thought of 10 years ago. It wasn't even on the radar. So part of competency is staying up to date and current. And we need to think about how do we give people the skills they need, the hard knowledge that we need, not attendance at a course where you signed in, fell asleep, and came back at the end of the day to grab the piece of paper that said you attended, but how do you actually take some clear knowledge? How do you use that and apply it within your workplace? And then how do we build on those skills? So if we're onboarding folks and they're coming in as mid-career, how do we get them with the same vocabulary, the same overall goals within our organizations, and how do we sustain them? So we talked about recruitment, we talked about retention, and we talked about ensuring that people stay current and up to date with their thinking. Happy to chat about it further. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't, so a lot of the technology people were talking about technology, how do we train people and stuff. That's really about learning the new things and it's staying up to date, but it's not the deciding factor. So if you're ordering your parts and you're trying to figure out how to do it at the warehouse versus ordering a book online from Amazon at home, it's kind of the same idea, but we need to teach people and give them the competency and the capability to be able to take that step further. We talked about some of the generational differences, also in the way that people gain their capability and their competency. So is it a training course and then you're sitting by yourself trying to figure out how to do this, or are you working as part of a group? And so we talked about how all of that comes together for understanding. Different people bring different skills together. Our asset management, coordinated efforts of the organization to deliver value. Our maintenance management is the same thing, but it's really focused in on the operate and maintain phase of it. And how do we build that capability and the competency to contribute to our organizational value?